Liverpool's pursuit of Marc Guehi looked like one of the most promising moves of the transfer window, but just as negotiations appeared to be edging closer to completion, the deal suddenly collapsed. Supporters were left stunned, with many questioning how such a high-profile target slipped away at the final hurdle. Now, fresh details have emerged revealing the shocking reason why Guehi's move to Anfield never materialised. Let's break this down in today's video, along with all the other Liverpool news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. But first, Alexander Isak has instantly become one of Liverpool's top earners after signing a 6-year contract upon his £125 million move from Newcastle. Isak is the most expensive player in Liverpool's history, with the £125 million deal to sign the Swedish striker eclipsing the £116 million paid for Florian Wirtz earlier in the summer. With that brings a certain status, but also a huge expectation to perform, which, given his comments upon joining, he is clearly confident of doing. Liverpool have backed their new number 9 to fire them to further success, which includes a top earner salary as part of his new 6-year contract. The Guardian's Andy Hunter and the Times' Paul Joyce are among those to report that Isak is expected to be earning £300,000 a week. While that puts him behind Mohamed Salah £480,000 per week and Virgil van Dijk £385,000 per week, and is not a definitive figure, it means the 25-year-old would be Liverpool's third highest earner. It is believed to be higher than Alisson's wages, while Wirtz earns in the region of £200,000 per week before any bonuses kick in. Liverpool typically sign players to contracts in the region of £120,000 a week if they are already established talents, but there is an acknowledgement that both Isak and Wirtz are above that bracket. That is unlikely to upset the apple cart in terms of the club's wage structure, with flexibility required after twice breaking the British transfer record. Instead, the long-held ethos of players earning future pay rises will remain, as was the case when Cody Gakpo put pen to paper on a new 5-year deal at the end of August. Speaking to the club's official website on sealing his move, Isak explained his motivation for joining the Premier League champions. "I think it's a mixture of what the club is building, but what they're building on top of what the club already is," he said, "the history of the club. Me getting the chance to be a part of this, I want to create history. I want to win trophies. That's ultimately the biggest motivation for me, and I feel like this is the perfect place for me to grow even further and to take my game to the next level and help the team as well." The striker confidently added, "I want to win everything." Now, the shocking reason why the Marc Guehi deal fell through has been revealed. Marc Guehi's proposed £35 million move to Liverpool broke down at the very end of deadline day, with claims his Crystal Palace manager threatened to walk. Guehi had undergone a medical at Liverpool's offices in London and was poised to travel up to Merseyside with club officials on Monday evening. But after agreeing a £35 million deal for their captain earlier in the day, Crystal Palace dramatically pulled out, having failed to land a replacement. According to TalkSport's Alex Crook, Palace manager Oliver Glasner threatened to resign if Guehi was sold during heated talks with chairman Steve Parish. Crook cited sources close to Guehi himself, while Glasner had made it clear earlier in the week that he felt Palace could not allow the 25-year-old to move so late in the window. "From my side, it's now Friday and the window closes on Monday. He has to stay," he told reporters in his press conference ahead of Sunday's 3-0 win at Aston Villa. He has to because it's not possible, I think, at the moment to find a Marc Guehi replacement who can play straight in the Premier League, being a starter for Crystal Palace, being consistent. When we see our foundation of the success we've had in the last few months, it's our defence. Marc is a crucial part, he's the captain, English international, and has the most experience. Getting the right replacement in now, I think, is almost impossible. Palace had pursued a number of targets to possibly replace Guehi, but they were either unable to agree a deal or, in the case of Brazilian defender Igor Julio, were turned down. Igor instead opted to join West Ham on a season-long loan from Brighton, with Palace also failing in moves for Manuel Akanji, Mohamed Salisu, and Liverpool's own Joe Gomez. Liverpool were unwilling to sanction a loan for Gomez, who also attracted interest from AC Milan, but stayed at Anfield beyond the deadline. Earlier in the window, Palace were also credited with an interest in Sporting CP's Ousmane Diomande, but were hamstrung by the uncertainty over whether they would be permitted entry to the Europa League. As it transpired, UEFA determined that, due to their rules over multi-club ownership, Palace would instead be required to enter the Conference League, which is clearly less attractive to prospective signings. If true, Glasner's threat to walk out of Palace shows the fractures developing around the club after a disastrous transfer window. Liverpool are expected to return, having already agreed personal terms with the England international, and a move could come either in January or next summer, by which point he will be available on a free transfer. In other news, Liverpool have agreed a deal to send Harvey Elliott on loan to Aston Villa for the season, with the midfielder making a £35 million permanent move next summer. Elliott will spend the rest of 2025/26 on loan with Unai Emery's Villa, after the two clubs agreed terms on deadline day. The deal includes an obligation to buy clause worth £35 million, meaning the 22-year-old's move will become permanent on July 1st, 2026. The Athletic's David Ornstein is among those to report the two clubs' agreement, though sources in the Midlands have insisted the fee is slightly lower. With an announcement expected in the next hours, Elliott will end a 6-year spell with his boyhood club, having made 149 appearances following a move from Fulham. Liverpool's £125 million agreement for Alexander Isak opened the exit door for the England under-21 international, who was known to prefer to stay in the Premier League over a move abroad. The club was seeking a deal for their number 19 in excess of £40 million plus a buyback option, or above £50 million without one. Villa have been in the market for reinforcements this summer, having only signed forward Van Gisand and goalkeeper Marco Bezzo, and they had sought to sign West Ham's Lucas Paqueta. Emery's side will compete in the Europa League this season, and Elliott will not be short on opportunities, something Arne Slot could not promise him. Liverpool were made to pay £4.3 million in compensation following the youngster's switch from Fulham in 2019. And he conceded this summer that he had to consider what was best for his career. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. We post all the latest Liverpool news every day, so join our fast-growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.